Truly, if you asked me any of these questions 2 months ago, this whole video would be different. It's so weird because I'm thinking about the last time I read these questions, which was a couple months ago, and I remember my answer. And it's different now. And it's so crazy. It's so crazy. My name is Emily. Today is January 16th, 2025. Today I am 29. Not anywhere in particular, but generally within Los Angeles. Not anything in particular, but I've been doing a lot of volunteering. Right now I'm in Sophia's room, and Sophia has agreed to be my interviewer. My tummy hurts, to be honest, but generally good, actually. My favorite movie used to be Drive, but I've since upgraded to a different Ryan Gosling movie. My favorite movie is La La Land. My favorite book is A Return to Love, Forever and Ever, Marianne Williamson for President. I love the Alberta Arts District in Portland. I like the Lynn Lake neighborhood in Minneapolis, just south of Minneapolis. And Tempe, Arizona has a special place in my heart. I love Tempe, Arizona. I'm not sure how I would describe myself. Whatever is going on in there, like, I feel sure about it. So that's not the worst place to be in. Maybe I'll have more words next year. Honestly, my favorite thing about myself, it's my bangs. I love my bangs. I got my bangs in 2020, and I thought I was going to grow them out semi-recently. And then I was like, no way. How could I possibly get rid of them? Hey, Emily from the future, here to elaborate on this now that I actually had time to think about it. Basically, for the last 6 months at least, maybe longer, every time I've looked in the mirror, I feel like I look worse. I feel like every time I look at myself in the mirror, I see somebody who looks sick. My skin doesn't feel good, my hair doesn't feel good, internally, I guess, the way it feels. And so I just don't feel great. I feel like I don't look great because I feel like something's wrong. I feel like this year's the year of going to the doctor, unfortunately, but that's why it's a 4. This last year, I really leaned into the cartoon character wears the same outfit every day style because no ability to figure that out. I was wearing black top, black bottom, white top, black bottom, and so on all year long. That's different from before, I'm sure, in some way. And also recently I chopped all my hair off. I did that 3 months ago. It was down to my waist, and now it was here, and now it's here. So I have more friends. I have better relationships with people that I was kind of friends with at the beginning of last year, and I have brand new friends that I made in the last year, which is pretty sick. It's so hard to make friends when you're 29. So grateful for them. My laptop, period, hands down. My laptop, I would cry without it. I would die without it. This last year, I made more money than I've ever made in a year, which is crazy. I worked really hard to save a lot of money this year, which I saved more than I thought I would at all. And now I have a decent start at retirement. One of my goals this year is to learn more about financial goals and come up with some things that I want to accomplish. So I think I'm in a good spot to start that journey. I value my community, and by that I very much mean my group of friends, because especially in the last handful of months, I've been hey, can you help me? Or hey, can I stay over? Or I need something. And every single time somebody says yes and can help me do whatever I need to do. And I have absolutely no idea where I would be if they didn't help me. So I really can't ask for anything better than that. So that's probably the most valuable thing to me. Calling, specifically calling out of the blue, even when I know that someone is at work. You better answer me. Honestly, myself, I feel like whenever I'm on the phone, I'm guess what I'm doing? Guess what I did? Guess what I made? And I guess that's a good thing, kind of. I like what I'm doing, and I think that I want to share that. So talking about yourself doesn't have to be bad, right? Why do I think it's bad? That's a question for later. I think it's best if we have the same sense of humor. I need to be able to make a joke that came out of nowhere and have them get it and riff off of that. We need to be able to share the same brain cell and just have it ping pong back and forth. Nowadays, it's deteriorating. Deteriorating. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misbehavior that I don't really want to deal with. I feel better knowing that I don't have a part in it and I don't need to be there for it or hear about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer, it's sad. I feel like I did the best thing that I could for myself, and that is what matters at the end of the day. Miss Los Angeles, I love her. I love her so much. I'm looking out the windows. That's what I'm doing right now. Today's January 16th. The fires started 10 days ago, and just for the last 10 days, like, you can see every single person in LA is out and donating and helping and distributing, driving. The community here is pretty unmatched, if you ask me. And it's really inspiring to me. I did some volunteering last year, but it's really made me want to, like, get into it and, like, maybe make a job out of nonprofits or whatever help the community. So I'm really inspired by her for that. It's not for me, man. I'm good. I simply feel too selfish for that. And selfish isn't a bad thing, by the way. Like, I just want to do whatever the hell I want to do whenever I want to do it. I don't need these, like, external things telling me that I have to go home or no, you can't travel. Like, I just need to do whatever it is I want to do. A child certainly will not allow that to happen. So I'm good. When I hear the word home, I simply think of Los Angeles, and not just California or Southern California, but like LA County. I'm gonna go back home. That means LA. Or I'm homesick. That's like LA. So I feel like ever since I was a kid, I was like, I belong here. And it's been a ride for sure the last like 5 years, but I think we're back, like, permanently, perhaps. My primary medium is collage, and I feel pretty confident about that. Throw in a side of, like, tattooing, maybe, or definitely a side of writing here and there, but collage is kind of my number one right now. I started doing digital collage back in 2021, and that was kind of my first foray into digital art. Took a pause from digital collage, did some tattoo stuff, some text art, and now we are so back as of sometime at the end of 2023, and we're working with some analog collage now. I think right this second, the thing that I like doing the most is simply hanging out with my friends. I think that they all have really cute little houses, apartments, rooms, and I'm really inspired by just being in their space because I can, like, really get up in there and kind of learn about them and, like, how they live, and I think that's really fun. I'm starting to understand the appeal of thrifting. I would go again, for sure. And I'm really obsessed with YouTube. I'm having so much fun still. This is my 4th video. And that'll tell you just how quickly I move through hobbies. I'm still excited after 4 weeks. That's good. Just because I don't have a job doesn't mean I'm not working. I think the work energy I put out into the world is primarily YouTube. Right now, recently, volunteering. That will be true for the foreseeable future. I would like it to be true for the foreseeable future. Getting out in the community, like, that is real work, and that is work that I'm doing, and I really like it. I'm trying so hard. A cool thing that happened last year was my feet started hurting, and they haven't stopped. I figured it would just be over. Like, it would hurt and then it would not hurt anymore. And maybe it's because I'm old now, but that didn't happen. So I think this new era will be like preventative care. Ooh, sexy. And I'm gonna just have fun with it. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna have fun with it. Answering this question with a story. My work-life balance was always 90% work, 10% art. And that was because I had to pay the bills, and that's okay, you know, but because I only had 10% of my life that I could dedicate to art, I feel like my art process and, like, figuring that out, like, who am I as an artist, whatever, took forever because it was moving so slowly. So when I was tattooing for the last 2 years, my work-life balance was 90% art, 10% work, and that just made the process of
who am I as an artist go so quickly. Like, I went through a million different lives during that time, and it helped me land on the artist now. However, 10% work, I am a Capricorn, babe. Like, let me clock in. Keeping those things in mind, I feel like the goal now is as close to 50-50 as possible. Like, get some art in there, but also, yes, clock in, have a silly job. The whole, like, work for yourself, don't have a job is so, like, own a house, don't rent. Babe, I will rent for the rest of my life. I will have a silly job for the rest of my life. That's fine. Deal with it. Wake up, drink water, morning pages. Open the Finch app, a self-care app featuring a bird. I love that app so much, and that's the first thing I'm looking at in the morning. My work hours, and work meaning answering emails or making art, doing like admin things, all that stuff happens in the morning. I love working in the morning. By the way, when I woke up earlier, that was at like 5:30 in the morning. So for reference, after I'm done working, I'll eat lunch. And honestly, then starts the problem, because after lunch, babe, I don't know. Hang out with someone, watch TV, wait for something to happen. The afternoon is a no man's land as far as I'm concerned. The situation with this is I'm moving on from the most painful 4 years. I'll get there. There's another side, I'm sure of it. First of all, Sophia. Also, the girls. The girls started as coworkers at various tattoo studios and a couple jobs, and they became my best friends, which is so sick. I'm very grateful for them. Spoiler alert, it's my Saturn return the last like couple years, Saturn in Pisces, and my whole thing that I've been figuring out is managing my attachment style, anxiously attached, and also managing my codependent tendencies. What a journey that's been. I feel like I'm in a much better place than I was even just a year ago. I can't wait for this part of my healing journey to be over. I have changed and learned so much in regards to these things, and I feel like a much more confident and well-rounded person who serves as half of a relationship. My financial goal is to come up with a financial goal. Like, there has to be something between now and retirement. I don't know what that is, but there's got to be something. I don't really care to own a house. As of right now, anyway, like, I don't really care about that too much. So, other than, like, saving for retirement, I mean, like, I don't really want kids. I don't see that changing, but I guess anything is possible. But saving for, like, their college fund or something like that, like, that's a good goal. But there's got to be something else out there, and I just have not figured out what that is yet. It's simply impossible to pick one. Going from having my own apartment for the first time ever to not living anywhere, from being in a relationship, questionable, to not being in a relationship, from full-time tattoo artist, and pretty happy with that, to possibly never doing that again, from having a consistent and stable relationship with Arizona, which is where I'm from, to possibly never needing to go back there ever again, from making a decent wage to the most money ever to now nothing. Absolutely nothing has stayed the same, and everything that has changed 180, just absolutely completely different, and I simply cannot keep up with it. I used to think it was really funny and cool to be mean, and I don't do that anymore, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I am very sarcastic, but I've learned that there's a way to be funny without, haha, I'm laughing at you. This is one of my goals on my 2025 no buy / resolution list. If you haven't watched that video, you should go watch it. I want to be consistent with YouTube, and that is super important to me. The thing about YouTube is you're playing the long game. Nothing is gonna happen in a year. Like, you have to build up that library for people to watch, and that process is resonating with me. So I want to finish this year with a solid library of 24 videos. So wish me luck. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, Minnesota, Virginia, Maryland, New York, Indiana, and Nevada. I think that's it. I had a lot of fun when I was in Maryland. That's a biased answer because the biggest reason that I had fun was because I was hanging out with a friend that I hadn't seen in many years, and hanging out with them made it so fun. But that is my answer, so like it or not, Maryland. If you're going to be hopping around while you're traveling, you have to carry multiple ways to drink coffee. I keep that K-cup strapped on me, and I keep those coffee filters around as well, because there's nothing worse than getting to an Airbnb kitchen and you're like, I can't make coffee here. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I will look back one day to Melted Words, and I will look at her fondly. Right now, she is too close to me to look so fondly, but the Poetry Project Volume 1 was a sick premiere of that project. I'll say it. Also, getting to travel around so much because I had people who wanted to be tattooed in so many different places, that was pretty cool too. Thank you for that. What does it mean to be a project? I can't even begin to say. I can't even begin. The first thing that came to mind was the Tattooed Poetry Project Volume 2, Emily Dickinson. That's not even complete though. The tattooing part of that project is complete, but I have to do the collage still. However, it feels like complete in that way. Technically, a YouTube video is a project that is completed, but YouTube feels like a project in itself that might never be completed, could be completed in a few years. Tattooing as a whole also feels like it could be a project, like an era. That's my answer. I think my art being in a gallery would be cool. I think it would be even cooler for something that I make to be purchased by someone who identifies as a collector. All of those things feel arbitrary now that I'm saying them out loud. What does that even mean? I think doing an artist residency would be possibly the next thing. Well, I can't even think that far ahead. I can't even figure out things beyond things that I feel like I could accomplish. I literally don't know what it means to have a wildest dream. This is the Capricorn struggle. My feet have to be on the ground at all times. 12. Something really cool that I did recently was log out of TikTok and delete the app off my phone. And it was the best thing I've ever done, personally. I wonder what the state of TikTok is by the time this video comes out, because it'll be after the 19th.
Yeah.
Let me know in a comment. As far as Instagram goes, actually, my relationship with her has gotten a lot better since I stopped using it as a tool for business. Now I just post whatever the heck I'm gonna post on there, and then I close the app because there's no DMs to respond to, and there's no people responding to my story, and there's no need to like start a poll or get engagement or reply to the comments. Like, shut up. Let's talk about this as if I were still Melted Words, because Melted Words is just the cherry-picked parts of like, look at me. And like my personal Instagram now is not so much me, it's more just like what's happening generally. And with YouTube, I feel like this is like at least 80% actually just who I am, and this is just me. I hope for that to be closer to like 90% or more. And I think that comes with like worrying less about a script, if even having a script at all, and maybe just having like an outline for a video or something, and doing less censoring of myself when I'm editing. And that just comes with time, I think. But I would like to be as for real as I am in real life on here, because YouTube is not a cesspool like some of those other apps.
Don't think too far ahead and enjoy the summer while it lasts.
I'm low-key stressed about figuring out where I'm gonna live next. Less about like physically where, and more just like touring apartments and interviewing to be a roommate and all that jazz. I'm kind of a faker because I love looking at hot pads when the stakes are low. But when the stakes are high, I'm like, I don't want to look at Facebook anymore. I can't respond to another DMs saying like, cleanliness is really important to me. Like, oh my god, who am I talking to? I'll say that the fires are not helping. Like, I would love to go outside on a little walk and like get my steps in, but I just don't think that's the smartest thing to do right now, especially not like every day at least. Aside from that, this last week has been so stressful, but like I did the things that were stressing me out, so I feel like it must be all uphill from here. I spent so much time alone for the last 3 or 4 months ever since I started traveling, which was the beginning of October, so 3 months, 3.5 months. There comes a point where things stop being fun to do when you're alone and the only option is to be alone. Because if you said now, after I've been in LA for the last couple weeks, like you have to go do this thing that you want to do by yourself, I would say like, okay, not a big deal, because I have interaction and like I get to see my friends. Would you believe relationships are important to your mental health? It's going to be worth it to keep posting on YouTube. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. I don't know if it'll be worth it this upcoming year or the year after that, or maybe even the year after that, but it's going to be worth it. So just shut the hell up and keep doing it. Please, I'm literally begging you. This interview, the Billie Eilish Vanity Fair interview, is my favorite thing on the internet, maybe my favorite thing ever. I love the fact that she started it when she was so young. I think the first episode she did, she was like 15 and she's like 23 now. Watching the passage of time is a privilege and I wanted in on that. So this is my version. The most obvious thing about this is that everything is temporary and your life continues on, and the things that mattered before don't anymore, and the things that happened informed like where you are now, but they are in fact over. The thing I want to get out of this is to simply one day be old and wrinkly, have lived a life, and look back and say, oh my god, I was so cute when I was 29. Oh my god, I was in such a tough place when I was 42. I cannot believe I managed to get through this. In the moment too, that's cool. So that's what I want.